Great ideas are birthed by people in organizations who, first of all, document those ideas in what I call a project candidate. It doesn't mean that that candidate will be approved by management. So, how do you manage the intake process for projects coming to you from all over the firm? You use a tool such as Smartsheet as a central repository to capture all these great ideas and to begin to process them as candidates one by one. So let's take a look at what Smartsheet can do for us. We'll use the form setting in Smartsheet to create an intake form. Let's click on Create and Form. Let's call this Project Intake. Bear in mind that this could also double as a project chartering process. Clicking OK reveals the beginnings of a Smartsheet form. Now, what we're going to do is assume we're using a project chartering approach. We're going to capture all the necessary information, and we're going to start by editing the fields. Double-click on Form field on the right here, and you'll be able to edit any of these items. So, clicking on the form field, let's call this at the top, project title. Let's call the next field the project sponsor. And bear in mind, in your project charters, you do have these fields. You have the sponsor field. You could have a project manager, because remember, this is the individual who has been authorized to apply resources to the project, for example. You could also have in a project charter a project customer. And remember, it's the beginnings, it's the initiating stage. Moving along, we begin to add more content to describe the project. We could have a chartering date field. And let's drag in a divider to separate these sections. And let's include another field for the project purpose or the justification of this. Now, for this project purpose or justification, let's make this a multi-line box. Now, this is rather small. Let me see if I can make it a bit bigger. So on the right-hand side, you've got a single line text box or a multi-line text box. So let's go ahead and get a multi-line text box. And let's save our form as we go. Make it a bit smaller. And there you can see the project purpose or justification has also been added. In the same token, let's add a field for project description. And again, let's make this a multi-line text box. Let's add another field. As you know, project charters should have a lot of high-level detail. So let's do that again, high-level stuff. I should actually say high-level information, because detail makes that something else, right? So high-level requirements, let's make it a multi-line text box again. Remember, in your project charter, you've got high-level risks. Let's add that too. And we'll make it a multi-line text box. There's so much more content we could add to a project charter. So we could say high-level scope, schedule, and cost. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible so there are not too many lines. And this will be a catch-all for anything else that needs to be added. But don't forget, we should also have a section for success criteria. So we could say success criteria and approver, whoever is going to be approving that. Also very important to add is summary milestone schedule. So let's put that summary milestone. So those are summary milestones and multi-line. And honestly, that is quite a lot for a project intake form or chartering process. When you're doing the intake, the project purpose or justification needs to be beefed up sufficiently. And you can skip a lot of the other stuff until the project charter has been approved. So you might need to customize this, one for project intake and another form for chartering. But I wanted to show you both at once. You can also choose what is absolutely required. So the required boxes are going to end up having a red asterisk next to them. Project manager required. Customer may not be required, and the charter date could say is required. Justification, and so on. You get the idea. All right, let's save it. Now that it's all saved, let's open the form. So here's the form. It's all done. Doesn't look bad. So if I was someone in the company that had a need, there's something that I wanted completed, I needed a project of some sort, I could just fill in a form and send it to whoever is responsible for that. I'm just going to type in some random data here. Project manager, project customer, say a charter date, it's today. Say the purpose or justification. Of course, you would have to spend some good time filling in this stuff. Project description. Put in some fictitious information from sample charters that I have. I actually wrote a book full of forms for a time machine project, believe it or not. So I have a lot of forms like this in that book. It's called Project VBX11. All right, let's put in more information. Actually, if you Google Project VBX11, it should come up with a comic book about project management that I wrote. If you look for the Time Machine project, that will be a different book. I believe VBX11 actually has these templates, examples, all filled out. All filled out. All right, let's do some high-level scope. This is a big form, as you can see. Let's put in the success criteria. And some summary milestones just to fulfill our righteousness. All right. I should probably put in a little bit more information about these milestones. You got to name them. There we go. Now, remember, this is a form. So it looks all pretty now, but once you send it, the information is going to be in a table. And that table can be a living document for all of these ideas, these initiatives, these candidates, as we used to call them back in the day at Honeywell. So we're going to hit submit. Success. We've captured your response. So if you go back to the actual table, Let's close this and hit refresh. You'll see that all of that data we captured is now populated in the table. And this table could be used for multiple projects. Let's go ahead and use this functionality that enables us to wrap up the information in the form. And you can see all that information that we captured, it's here, all for one project. If you wanted, you could do it in such a way that you suck this into a custom form to show you the information in a different way. As usual, if for any reason you needed to see the information in a Gantt, you could. This would also be a way for you to intake tasks to be done on a project from a team. So if you had a team of folks you're working with and they had ideas for tasks for the project, you could ask them to fill in a form, and each line item from each individual would be a task. And that could be the beginnings of an actual schedule. All right. So I hope you got value from this. I hope it gave you some ideas about the possibilities of Smartsheet. Lots of information here. Yep, a lot of stuff, but it is a great way of you putting information into one place and managing it accordingly. And again, if you were to go back to forms, and you were to share the form, you could put in all the information for different projects, potential projects. And instead of you having sheets flying all over the place, well, everything is all in one sheet. Okay. I hope this helped you. So when all is said and done, assuming you had all these projects, several projects, you could very well just put all the information in there, and this sheet could display the information that you need about every project at a snapshot, at a high level. So imagine doing an intake for 20 different projects. A sheet like this would help you effectively manage that. And like I said, it's a great way of you chartering your projects, keeping the information all in one place. All right, my friends, you take care, and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye for now.